All right, so I'm going to walk through another one of these problems looking at 15a. Maybe it'd be called different name in the future when you see this, but that's what I'm calling it right now. It's dealing with lengths. So you were given your input is a set of lists, or a list of lists. Actually, let me say that again. It's a list of numbers, right? We have a whole thing's a list, and then inside of that big list, we have little baby lists, and inside of those baby lists, there's going to be a set of numbers. The goal for this is to return return something like this, which just says how long each one of these lists are. So when we go into our program here, things are already set up for that. Wish this was spaced a little bit better. All right, so we're going to get into lists. What we want to do is, there's a lot of different ways we could do this, and especially if you're coming from a Java background, you might have a tendency to do things in a Java-like way. We really want to focus on using list comprehensions in here. So we can do list comprehensions by saying something like, let's call, I feel like this is a really common thing to do. Let's see. We could do something. Well, I mean, the answer is going to look like this. We're going to say for, I'm going to do some fun names. Let's call it baby list. That's the variable, and it's going to go in reverse order. I'm going to say let's call this baby list in lists. Instead of having a colon here, on the left side, I'm going to say, like, what do I want to do? Like, what should this list be composed of? If I, for example, just type in baby list here, we just print what happens when we do L. We run this. Let's see. So I'm creating this as L, and I'm printing L. Let's see, I'm getting none. Why is that? Let's delete this for a second. Let's just get rid of that. Let's just run this code. Let's run it. Good. Okay. Now, yeah. So it's basically printing out. It's really just, we're kind of repackaging. We're creating a new list, but it's still just comprised of all the things that were inside of our old list, which are a bunch of these values. What I can do in here, like, for example, I can do a bunch of things in here. There's a function that we have in Python called sum. So we can find the sum of this list. And now what we're going to do is we're going to look through all of the baby lists inside of our big set of lists, all the individual lists inside of the big lists. And for each one, we're going to sum this. And each time we create a sum, we're going to add it to this new list that we're making. So when we run this, now we're finding the sum. So 1 plus 2, 3, 6, 10, 15. And I'm going to trust that this adds up to 361, and this adds up to 0. So the elements of our list are this thing. Where are we getting these elements from? Doing this loop. The organization is a little bit weird. I feel like a lot of times we think we should have the for loop first, and then the conditions later. But this is just they set up for a list comprehension. It's really, really powerful. There's a lot of things that we can do in here. It kind of feeds into doing Lambda functions and other stuff we're going to work on. The correct answer for doing this one is just to put len out front of here. We're going to look through each time we find a baby list. We're going to take the length of that baby list, find the result of that, add that to our new list L. If we run that, we'll get the correct answer. I think. Oh, and then for this one, to totally solve this one, we don't have any extra variables. We just want any extra lines. We just want to return this as our answer. I think if we do that, our test should work. I know they do. I don't know if I should bother going through all this, but I guess just in case it doesn't work. Boom, works.